Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you probably see in the title of this video, I will be talking about the digital ID, a topic that is not a comfortable one for those of us who are aware what will be the consequences ultimately of taking that path, let's put this way. And this is also a video that might not be probably received well by those of you who are completely, fully believing that there are perfect countries in the world who are not going to participate in this and who are just ideal. For me personally, this is also not easy to come across this news. And the reason for it is because, as many of you know, probably not all of you, I have some new subscribers. I took upon a challenge to see Russia through my own eyes, and that was almost 3 years ago in December 2022. Yes, exactly the same year when the special military operation has started. Since I went there the first time, I was absolutely mesmerized by the culture, energy, kindness of people, and overall the place where I was in Moscow or St. Petersburg. Of course, this is not entire country, and I repeat this all the time. However, I got a glimpse of what it is, and I was returning there many times. With this being said, I also came to the decision that was a while ago to give a try and move to Russia and maybe start a new chapter of my life there. I was, however, postponing with this move, and I know some of you have been asking me those questions. Have you moved? Are you moving? This and that. And I was not sure if this is exactly what I want to do in that very moment. So I was just, thinking about things, analyzing, looking at the events, the unfoldment of events. And I am coming to this conclusion, and that's why I'm going to show you in a second the news that maybe you already heard about, maybe you haven't. I'm coming to this level of understanding things or looking at things that either all of those people that we are watching in power are in the same boat, they are just playing different sides, and we are being the tools that are being manipulated, because ultimately it looks like this is a global thing and there is not a single country in the world that's going to escape this digital ID. The question is how soon it will be implemented. So that puts a different light on Russia for me personally, because to be honest with you, and I want to be very authentic as I tend to be here and transparent, this is something that really surprised me, because however you're gonna interpret this application that I'm going to read you about, this to me looks like it's going to be just another step before some other steps that lead to this ultimately to this digital ID that is fully controlling the population of the country. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but I feel at this point that we are watching some kind of theater, and either this is just something that's going to turn out into something very good, but it's hard to believe, because if you have that much control over a citizen, what good does it do to the freedom and sovereignty of that person? Before we go to Russia, I want to just for a moment go back to Vietnam. As you know, I have visited Vietnam too, very quickly. It was vacation, so very different thing. However, as many of you know, let me share the screen with you. Vietnam is part of BRICS. As you can see here, the map of the countries that are joining BRICS at this moment is BRICS expands to 56% of world population, 44% of global GDP. I think this is pretty accurate, pretty recent data. But Vietnam joined BRICS as a partner country in June 2025, becoming the 10th partner nation in a framework established in 2024 to foster cooperation with countries outside the core membership. So why I'm showing this to you is because, as you know, Vietnam is part of BRICS. However, very, very recently, so to those of you who think that BRICS is just perfect organization that is not pursuing this globalist agenda, Vietnam has closed over 86 million bank accounts as part of data cleansing efforts to combat fraud and enforce Project 06. And what is that? It's a national digital ID initiative and enhance security for digital payments. So accounts were targeted if they were deemed initiative or lacked mandatory biometric verification, such as fingerprints or facial scans, starting in September 2025. So this year, last month. This action requires individuals to re-register their accounts with biometric data or face termination, impacting both citizens and foreign residents. So why is this important? What does it mean in a nutshell? It means this: if you don't comply, if you don't obey with what we are telling you, we're going to freeze your account and you will not have access to your money until you will download this digital ID with your fingerprints, picture of your face, and other whatever are required, another information that are required. And then you're very welcome to have access to your bank account and to use your money. If not, I don't know what is going to be confiscated. I have no idea. So on that note, before we go into Russia and the articles I have for you, from Izvestia, so from Russian side, and then from another portal as well, just to compare it, what's the info. I want to say that gold just reached $4,000, actually $4,050 per ounce, and that was last night. And maybe, let me just show you guys, if you are interested, if you live in US and you are interested in purchasing gold or silver or other precious metals, let me show you where I buy, besides of course Poland, even 1 ounce of silver or whatever you can accumulate. So you can see here gold is $4,049, almost $50 per ounce. Silver is $49. Is gonna absolutely cross 50 this year, maybe even more. Will be maybe even $60, $70 this year, who knows. But I think gold is going to reach, if it goes as it's going, probably 4,500, 4,700 this year, and we are talking about crazy numbers next year. So Money Metals Exchange is the place. You can go there. I used to have a program with them. If you are a first-time buyer and you mention Anya K, you have to purchase certain amount. I don't remember exactly. You will get, I think, 3 ounce or half an ounce of silver. So call them and say Anya K, and maybe this will help you to get some silver just for free because you mentioned my name. So let me now take you guys to this article about Russia. Digital ID, everyone. That's why I'm talking gold and silver and something that you have in your hands, not paper gold and silver, the metal gold and silver. Let's go to Izvestia. What is this Russian digital ID about? So the article is actually from 2 weeks ago, even more than that, almost 3 weeks ago now. But I just came across this, better late than never, as they say. Max started using a digital ID. What you need to know. So what is this about? A new feature is being introduced in the Max Messenger, the creation of a digital ID. It should replace the use of ordinary paper documents in everyday circumstances, for example, when it is required to confirm the age for the purchase of registered goods, as well as when checking into a hotel. what you need to know about the main functions of the social network is in the Izviestia article, how the new feature works. Only users over the age of 18 will be able to issue a digital ID. So they call it digital ID. To do this, you need a smartphone with a camera and a verified profile on the Gosuluk portal. Biometric information can be attached at registration or downloaded by scanning a new passport format. After that, you need to take a selfie to verify your identity. So we have the face recognition, we have the names, we have the details, we have the face recognition. The entire verification procedure takes about 1 minute, and the process is considered completed. Now it goes into details. The digital ID in the Max Messenger is a separate page with a verified photo and dynamic QR code that automatically changes every half minute. You can use it exclusively on the device where it was designed. This reduces the likelihood of unauthorized access and enhances the protection of personal data. This feature makes it possible to confirm the age, status of a student, or the presence of a large family. So they know exactly, how old you are, if you're a student, if you have family, how many children, etc., etc. So all your data, all your information and details. And all the necessary information is available right inside the application. The service is still operating in test mode. After testing is completed, Max will become a much more useful tool. Users will be able to undergo verification through Gosulugi, I don't know what is this, and government agencies will receive verified accounts within the platform. So everything you put out there, government will know absolutely everything, because you have to in order to for that application to be useful. This is a key competitive advantage compared to foreign messengers. So this is something that is trying to kind of replace WhatsApp as well in a way. That's what I understood, but let's continue. Except this is much more, how you say it, it has more features as far as information goes, personal information goes. What else is there in Max? Max is positioned as a national messenger, so kind of like WhatsApp in a way, and at the same time as a digital ecosystem of user services. It implements the functions of calls and audio and video formats, supports chats, voice messages, large file forwarding, and money transfers. So it's like digital ID, because it has your face, it has your information, and you can use it almost like a communication as well, which means everything you're talking about, every document you're sending to someone is being monitored. The news channels in the app are still working in a text version. The platform also has a built-in business tools in the form of mini applications and chatbots, thanks to which users can solve various everyday tasks. The application is included in the official registry of the Russian software and is available for installation both on mobile services and in versions for computers and web browsers. In early September, the number of Max users exceeded 30 million people. The application is optimized for different platforms, which allows you to use it both on mobile devices and on a computer without losing the quality of communication and data synchronization. At the same time, updates are released regularly and are aimed at improving functionality, increasing the level of protection, and adding new convenient tools. During the development of the domestic messenger, special attention was paid to security. WhatsApp, part of Meta, the organization is recognized as extremist and banned in the Russian Federation, and Telegram have long undermined their credibility as they are actively used by scammers for various schemes. And the application management is unable to effectively combat criminals. If a person becomes a victim of a fraud at max, the probability of detecting violators is higher, since the messenger interacts with domestic law enforcement agencies and responds to their request. So I would say, in my interpretation, under the pretext of security, because we're going to protect you, everything is connected with the law enforcement agencies. So yeah, I mean, this is not, to me, this is not something that is just perfectly protected and good. There is an underlining meaning behind it. At the same time, Max cannot be considered just another messenger. This is a full-fledged Russian digital platform, the capabilities of which go beyond the exchange of messages and calls. So they just say it right here. This is not just another messenger application. This is a digital platform. It implements identity identification services as well as built-in business tools to make life easier for users. So, in my opinion, guys, this is, I mean, I have to tell you, I'm actually pretty surprised that it's happening that quick, especially in Russia, because as some of you know, I have some Russian viewers, and maybe you like this idea. I don't know. To me, this is not something to rejoice about and embrace with gratitude. This is something about control. And as I am aware that Russia is, especially Moscow, was very, very digital, and you use your, you make payments with your phone. Majority of people use it. So they have already been, in a way, established and trained and positioned to welcome something like this. But if this is the digital ID that actually, and new phones, I think I came across that information that new phones that people are buying in Russia, they will already have this application implemented in it. So like you have to provide your face recognition, biometrics, etc., etc. Now let me check, and I have one more article about this. So let's see if there is anything else. So this is from biometricsupdate.com. And of course, I'm going to attach both of those articles in the links down below in the description box, so you can read it again. Russia state-backed WeChat copy launches digital ID. So this one also talks about it in this way. So let's see if there's anything else here. Well, the article ends with this. The government's involvement, however, is also fueling suspicions of surveillance. I'm sorry if I mispronounce. It's a hard word for me to pronounce because maybe that's exactly what I don't like, surveillance. According to its policies, the application might share user information with government agencies. So vKontakte has an extensive history of collaboration with the Russian authorities. So VK, it's something very, very popular in Russia. It's already reporting a lot of stuff, but this is like next level. The introduction of the app comes as Russia attempts to introduce more control over information in its online sphere. In August, the country effectively blocked Max competition, WhatsApp and Telegram, claiming that the foreign-owned messaging apps are being used for fraud and terrorism. So I'm sure that I will have some comments from some of you that, because I am very aware, guys, and this is nothing to do with I don't like Russia, or, you know my take on Russia. I think all of you who are watching me for a long time know very, very well. For me to even say I want to move there and live there, it's a big challenge. It's a big move, right? But for me to bring this to you and speak about it, really not being biased, but trying to be objective, because I'm also very aware that a lot of people you're listening to, those are the experts in the military or other topics, right? And they almost have this image, like they idolizing the country so much, almost not seeing certain things that maybe are not okay. Of course, a lot of things is okay. You know, it's without a question. I've been there, I've seen it, but it's also a country that is not perfect. There is no perfect country. So I think we have to be very careful with this influence, or with this being trapped that, okay, so this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, and you don't even question it anymore. You don't question the leaders anymore. You don't question the country anymore. It's because that is the only place, this is the best, and you know, even if there are challenges, there are little ones. Well, this actually, to me, it's something that is not good. This is control, and it's just probably another stage of it. So how is this improving your life? Oh, because you don't have to, you have all the documents in it and it's just easy. But that's how they are selling things to people. Everything is easy, easy, easy. And then you just easily are completely another form of slavery, isn't it? So let's be objective and let's not be clouded with someone else's opinions. That's how I feel. And that's why I like to really use my own discernment and trust my own intuition and have my own critical thinking. You can listen to different people, but at the end of the day, it's not me or someone else telling you what to think. It's you who decides based upon the data or information, or even the feeling, the sense of the energy of it, if this is something good or if it's not. Not sure about it. So on that note, I want to take you to Maria Zakharova, since we are in the topic of Russia, and she will be talking about those missing children. You remember the story that Zelensky keeps on talking about, missing children, and his wife, Oriana, writing letters to Melania Trump. Thank you for standing up for those Ukrainian children that Russia has stolen, etc., etc. So let's take a listen to what Maria Zakharova had to say about it. Because, you know, she never goes around the bush. She always says it like it is. So let's take a listen. What's up with those missing children from Ukraine that allegedly Russia has stolen and hid somewhere, God knows where.
Well, now about the children's topic, which they love to promote so much on Bankova. On September 29th of this year, at the Security Forum, again we put that word in quotation marks, because there is nothing more anti-security than the NATO policymakers' politics. So the forum was held in Warsaw. Zelensky staged yet another performance on the subject of the allegedly stolen by Russia, as he said, Ukrainian children. He spoke about how difficult it is to find the tens of thousands, can you imagine? Tens of thousands of minors whom Russia illegally hides, as he again stated. Yes, indeed, it is hard to find a black cat in a dark room, especially if it is not there. It would have been better if Zelensky had told those assembled about the repressive methods of his criminal regime, which targets young children by entering their personal data on the list of enemies subject to liquidation on the extremist site Mirot Vorets. In recent days, additional children have been added to his database. It is monstrous, but once again the names of children have appeared there. 13 minors are now targets for liquidation for the Kiev regime. The youngest of them is 9 years old.
Mocny odkurzacz o mocy 15,0 paskali, używany przez miliony kierowców.
In Russia, everything is being done to return children separated by the conflict to their relatives. Such a family reunification mechanism has long been established and successfully operates. Zelensky cannot not know this, since direct contacts on this question are being carried out between Russian authorized officials and the Ukrainian side. As of today, the result of this work looks as follows. 115 minors have been reunited with relatives in Ukraine and in third countries. countries, and 28 children have returned to Russia. I would like to remind you that during the second round of negotiations in Istanbul on June 2nd of this year, the Ukrainian delegation handed us a list of 339 children. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, not millions. 339 names. And even then, with the qualification that their relatives are searching for them. A third of the list turned out to be irrelevant, that is, not corresponding to reality. Work is being carried out on the remaining part. If the Kiev regime has data on the tens of thousands of Ukrainian children, why have they still in no way been presented, demanded? Now I appeal to everyone, to representatives of the media, to citizens of Ukraine, demand that they publish what they talk about. They publish personal data about children. For example, Mirotvorets does this regularly. Why then do they not publish the data of those children whom they allegedly are searching for? Because they are not searching for children, they are playing the child card. Everything that Zelensky speaks about is an absolute lie. The worst thing is, he knows this. In his Warsaw address, he publicly said that he does not have such a list of children at this stage. Why? Because allegedly, he has yet to create this list of children. Have you ever heard anything like this? If from the very first day of the conflict they have been claiming that tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of children are being searched for by them, then why over all this time, 3.5 years, have they still not been able to compile this list? Yes, because, I will repeat once again, there are no thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of so-called children missing in Ukraine because of Russia's fault. If, due to the fault of the Kiev regime and its respective ministries and agencies, these children are among the unaccounted and unregistered, then let the Kiev regime answer before the Ukrainians why they are not doing their work in the social sphere, in the sphere of the ministries, in departments of internal affairs and security services, and they should not blame other countries for it. In essence, in Warsaw, Zelensky admitted that the figures he voiced were simply taken out of thin air. At the same time, he continues to lie about the 1,600 children allegedly returned from Russia. Can you imagine? Where did these numbers come from? 1,600. Where did he get this number? Where did he get another 1,485 children whom Ukraine allegedly found and brought back from Russia? Where are these stories? Where are the names of these children? Where are the facts? Every case of children reuniting with their relatives is verified if it goes through the appropriate channels, including through international intermediaries. Moreover, without the knowledge of the Russian authorities, it would be impossible to transport such a number of children. This is some kind of sick fantasy. The Russian authorized bodies know nothing about the transfer to Ukraine of nearly, as Zelensky claimed, 1,500 minors. This is yet another monstrous, shameless, and heartless fabrication. Perhaps these children did exist, but they were probably not in Russia. Then let Zelensky speak to the end. Most likely they were on the territory of European Union countries, NATO countries, in the countries of Western Europe. Information about their actual number has repeatedly appeared in open sources. What is meant is the large number of Ukrainian children who were homeless, unregistered, lost, taken away, and abandoned on the territory of Western European countries. Let him then say that 1,500 children were returned to Ukraine from NATO countries. Let him tell how he brought them back. These figures, I mean the number of Ukrainian children lost on the territory of Western European countries. These figures are also known to Western human rights activists. They have been publicly available and have repeatedly appeared on the relevant, specialized websites. Similar figures regarding the number of children who were outside their parents' supervision on the territory of NATO countries were also available to Ukrainian human rights activists. Why? Because entire orphanages are being taken out of Ukraine to Western countries, and their wards then disappear without a trace. But Zelensky did not speak about this in Warsaw either. Yet we will help. And we will add that no one speaks about fate of those very children who are being taken away, including under the patronage of Zelensky's wife. Neither he nor she is talking about it. They are doing this on purpose. It is obvious that we are dealing with yet another anti-Russian slander campaign, staged by Kiev with the support of the West. For the replication of anti-Russian narratives on the children's topic, an entire coalition has been created for the return of supposedly lost, or, as they say, stolen, Ukrainian children. Its latest gathering took place on September 23rd of this year in New York, during the high-level week of the 81st session of the UN General Assembly. Decent and sensible people have long understood that such gatherings not only have nothing to do with real concern for children, but also simply discredit their participants. Taking advantage of the fact that issues related to children are sensitive and evoke an emotional response from a very wide audience. The regime of Zelensky and the Western countries cynically exploit this topic. At the same time, they are absolutely indifferent to the real problems of children in Ukraine.
So, just a few words from me before we end this video. You know, I talk about this number of times about his wife, Olena Zelenska's foundation. Those of you who have not seen the videos, just look it up. Put Olena Zelenska or missing children, usually from orphanage, or, you know, some children that became orphans, right? A lot of those children. So we are clearly here witnessing the child trafficking situation in a plain sight, right there. You know, when I look at all of this, I'm wondering, like, is this where humanity is going? How this is going to end, all of this? Going back to the digital ID as well. You know, I understand the point of some people who are saying, look, for example, at China, that I still have to visit, by the way, I know. I will go there ultimately. I'm just postponing certain trips because I'm not feeling ready yet. So some people say it's because of that control, digital control. You have place that is safe. You don't have crime or very little crime. It's clean, it's organized, it's controlled. So there is an aspect to that digital ID, that digital control that is serving the purpose to maintain the order, especially in the country that has so many millions of people living there, right? So I understand that aspect, and I understand where this opinion is coming from. However, I also know that, for example, what is taking place in UK right now, this is digital ID as well. And, you know, we might think that it's something good in other countries because we don't really know all the details. But then if you hear about this, that this will limit your travels, this will limit many things because they can simply decide what you can or cannot do depending on what they don't want you to do, to be completely blocked from using your money going to certain restaurants, going to certain places, buying certain food, for example, meat, etc., etc. You know what I'm talking about. So slowly but surely, they are just tidying up the pressure and control over your life. And they can do literally whatever they want with you, because if you don't use it, you cease to exist. And that leads me to this vision that for a long time I've been having, that we will ultimately have two paths to choose from, like in a way, two roads to choose from. One will be this smart cities, very much likely digital ID. That's why I am not sure if I really want to live in big cities anymore. Besides the aspect of the noise and the energy and the nervousness of the people who live in those big cities and the stress level. So we will have the choice of big cities, smart cities, digital ID, full scale, full on, or we will go back to the nature, smaller communities, maybe not as exciting as far as the glamour goes, but what kind of glamour really is it when you don't have much saying and freedom? And then you have more healthy food, you have some sense of community with people, you have nature, you have more peaceful, I'm not saying completely peaceful, but more peaceful life. And maybe in a way it's a boring life, but you know, I think the best ideas, especially for artists and those people who create, come from silence or when you are out in the nature. That is at least for me. And we separated ourselves so much from it. I'm not saying you go in the middle of the forest and you build a shack and you live there. Maybe some will, but you can actually establish a very healthy community with people. In a way, go back to the basics, but in a little bit more developed way as far as the current times go. And I think that's the way to do it. You will know where your food is coming from. You will exchange your goods, you will exchange your services. And it looks, it sounds scary at first, but I think that might be a quite tempting picture to many people, because you will have time to, you know, actually feed your soul and not be chasing the ideas that they told you are who you're supposed to become in this world. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate if you're still here with me. I don't want to be afraid to express my thoughts and my opinions on this channel, even if they don't align with many people that you are watching or listening to, because I always remind myself to live with integrity. And that integrity starts with self. So you have to be true to yourself and know yourself. And that's the true power, because you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. It's easy to be influenced, so make sure to use your own discernment with everything, information I provide you, and come to your own conclusions and let me know what you think. And I want to thank everyone who chooses to support my work, especially joining my Patreon or donating on PayPal. It really helps me a lot and keeps me going with my channel. And you find the links, as I've mentioned before, down below in the description box, as well as my Instagram. That, as you can see, is mainly dedicated to looking for beauty in this world, as far as in my travels, in architecture, in fashion, in art, and in the nature as well. So that's all for today. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, guys.